For the last module in EDL 851, we were assigned a case study called A Good Teacher Turns Bad. In this case study, a formerly highly successful teacher named Mrs. Horton is experiencing some personal conflicts in life. Her husband has left her, and she's raising two teenage boys on her own. This is creating a lot of tension in her personal life, which she's carrying over into her classroom. Her teaching style has changed a lot. She used to be a very positive, hardworking teacher, and now she's coming to school angry. She's having outbursts, and she's not taking care of herself or her students. The principal, Miss Wilson, thought that this situation would resolve itself over the summer. But she noticed that Miss Horton wasn't coming in at all to work on her classroom like she usually did. She suspected that things were still going wrong in her life, but she waited it out to see what the next school year would bring. Upon the next school year, there was complaints almost immediately from parents of the students in her classroom. Parents went to the teacher and had no communication with her. The teacher would not respond to their requests for parent-teacher conferences or phone calls or anything like that. Frustrated, the parents went to the principal and then to the school board trying to get answers. Miss Wilson, the principal, was going to investigate the classroom dynamic, but as she was going to do so, a parent came in and asked for her student to be removed from the classroom. She suggested having a conference with that teacher, and they sat down together, only to have the teacher, Miss Horton, go out into an angry outburst upon hearing some confrontation from the parent. The meeting was dismissed, and now it's up to the principal to decide what's going to happen with the teacher. So we need to start by identifying our problem. The problem is that this teacher's personal life is interfering with her classroom. I need to decide, is this really the case, or is there some type of vendetta that the other parents have against her that's creating this false narrative? So I need to do some investigating. Then, as principal, I'll need to mediate immediately if it's actually an issue, because I need to act in the best interest of my students. When solving this problem, I need to think about what I know and what I need to know. I already know that Miss Horton has been a very successful teacher. She's won Teacher of the Year for our school, and she's been around for many years. I know she has home issues. Her husband has left her. She's raising two teenage boys. She's very stressed. She's had a lot of change in her life recently and is not dealing with it well. I've seen her have outbursts in professional development when change is mentioned, and I know that there are some anger issues with her, so I need to figure out what's going on there. Parents are complaining and saying that Miss Horton is being very rude to their students. She's angry, she's yelling, and she's not adapting to their needs. I need to decide whether this is true and how the students are really feeling. I've also observed an outburst from Miss Horton when we had a parent conversation. If the parent said that she was failing to do certain things and she called them a liar and got very angry. So I know that there's some frustration with her and beneath the surface. Here's what I need to know. What's the classroom climate like? How do the students feel? What do other teachers think? How does she feel? How does Miss Horton feel that her teaching is going? How can I help her best? I also need to evaluate our tenure process and what our due process laws are as well for my state. If it is as bad as it appears, there's probably going to be a release of contract from Miss Horton. And so I need to evaluate this and make sure that our legal, that I'm doing this according to the correct legal aspects. Here's my plan of action. The first thing I need to do is talk to Miss Horton. Not today. She's obviously very clearly upset. I'm going to wait until she has a couple days to settle down, and then I'm going to meet with her. I'm going to talk about what's going on with her in her personal life and how I can support her. Does she need to see a counselor? Does she need assistance with her sons? Is she struggling to make ends meet? What's going on? Once we've got that figured out, we need to talk about how to make her a better teacher and how to prevent that from carrying over into her classroom. Second, I'm going to talk with all the students and all the parents. I need to know how students really feel. Are they all scared to come to school? Are they all upset? Do they all dislike Miss Horton? What about the parents? Is every parent concerned, or is it just the select few? And if it's just the select few, why then? Is there more background knowledge that I need to know about? Third, I'm going to make frequent observations on this classroom. At various points in the week, at various times in the school day, I'll pop in, maybe for 2 minutes, maybe for 10, just to see what's going on. I'll try to get a feel for the classroom dynamic. I'm going to provide her with more paraprofessional support. We only have 3 on staff, but I think if I send somebody in there just 15 to 30 minutes a day, maybe in reading block, which I know is frustrating time for her, she'll feel a little bit more supported. She'll know she has help if she needs it, and that will help her become a better teacher. I'm also going to offer her some professional development opportunities. She's struggling with the reading curriculum. I could send her to a new conference to help her learn about the program, or I could even just let her watch Teachers Next Door teach the program. Regardless, it's clear she needs support. She doesn't feel comfortable with the content, and so we need to help her become more adequate in this area. I'm also going to keep an eye on the student data. If students are succeeding, if they're emotionally secure, and everything is on grade level and looks to be trending upward, I'm going to be a little less concerned with the immediacy of the situation. If everybody is trending downwards, obviously this is a serious issue. I need to act fast. So that's going to kind of make up, determine what I need to do from there on out. Regardless, I'm going to involve our school counselor. Students with trauma, particularly the student that was asked to be removed, she's going to need somebody to talk to in a safe spot. So by having a counselor available to talk with her, that's going to help her significantly. Other students might also feel the need to talk with the counselor as well. Also, my counselor can provide insight to outside resources that might help Miss Horton professionally and personally, so that she can get the mental assistance that she needs to be more successful. Lastly, I'm going to increase communication between all parties. One of the biggest frustrations with parents is that they're not hearing from the teacher. So I'm going to set up a goal for Miss Horton to communicate with the parents more frequently, via email or phone calls, at least once a week. I too will communicate with the parents more frequently and address their concerns through phone calls, personal meetings, emails, etc., so that they know that I take their situation very seriously. This plan is multifaceted and should resolve a lot of issues. First off, it focuses on the student's needs. If things are not going well in the classroom, I'm going to act immediately to get the teacher out of there so that they can be successful and improve and go on with their school year. If it's found that I can just help Miss Horton improve her teaching abilities, then I'm going to give her the professional development she needs. So that's there to help her become a better teacher. I'm also giving her additional support, which will help her feel more secure, give her more time, and let her be a little bit more at ease by having a pair around. By increasing parent-teacher communication, I hope to ease some of the frustrations felt by both parties, and the anger should hopefully diminish. Lastly, I'm going to hope for an improved classroom climate. By giving Miss Horton a little bit of a break and by easing the tensions within the classroom, I think she'll be able to build relationships with her students, which might make her enjoy coming to work a little bit more. So, in thinking about this problem, I knew that something unusual was happening in this teacher's life, and it's affecting her classroom as well. As teachers, we're told to leave our personal baggage at the door and come to school ready to teach kids happy and successfully. Then sometimes that's not always easy to do. As a principal, I'm going to have to be aware of that. I'm going to have to be able to meet my staff's needs if they have a personal issue arise. By giving them a little bit of grace and time to recuperate from personal issues, I'm modeling what a good ethical leader should do. I think by giving her additional support instead of punishing her immediately, then we can help resolve this in an effective way. I'm feeling very concerned, however, for my student well-being. I want to make sure that they're on track. I want to make sure that they're emotionally stable and that things are being held accountable, as well as their teachers being held accountable. I'm concerned about fairness for all parties involved. I want students to be given a fair and equitable education. I want the teachers to be treated and evaluated fairly. I want Miss Horton to be treated and evaluated in a way as if she's not under investigation. And I also want the parents to feel like they are being heard and their their thoughts are important as well. I value the student success, I value improving my teachers, and I really hope to see that the parents support my decision as an educator. While this conflict could lead in many directions based upon my findings, there's no doubt going to be some unresolved issues. After any type of conflict, there's going to be hard feelings, and after something as big as this, there's bound to be some extra hard feelings. That might not resolve itself immediately. It might be just some lingering tension throughout the rest of the school year, which is something that will just be unresolved. I also need to investigate the possible trauma of students. If things are really as bad as they appear, I need to get my counselor and maybe a social worker in there as soon as possible to help my kids recover. I want them to love school and to be excited to come to school, and if they're not, we need to fix that. The last two things have to do with the continued employment of the teacher. I need to decide if this is still going to be an employable teacher for my district. If she is, great, let's provide her with the professional development needed. If not, I need to make sure I've done things by the book because I do not want any legal issues stemming from possible dismissal. My plan promotes academic success because it enhances my teacher's instruction. It gives her a platform to be a better teacher by providing her with extra support, with prayers, and with professional development. By giving her that extra help, she might feel supported and a little bit more confident in her abilities. I'll also be actively monitoring the classroom data so that I can make quick adjustments as needed. This plan promotes personal well-being of all parties. It takes the students' behaviors seriously, it allows them access to counselors, and it also takes the behavior of Miss Horton seriously as well. Clearly, she's in distress. She needs assistance. So, by taking her behavior and then giving her access to counselors outside of school, I might be able to help that. It also lets parents know that I do not find this to be a light matter. It needs to be dealt with soon, so they will understand and trust me through my communication process with them. By communicating with them frequently, as well as mandating communication between Ms. Horton and parents, I hope to slowly regain the trust that was lost at the beginning of the school year. I hope to also increase the security of students through principal presence. By having them see me in their classroom frequently, they'll get to know me as well and know that there's an additional adult in the building that they can talk with. Lastly, we're hoping to improve the emotional security of Miss Horton to allow her the peace of mind to get back to that wonderful teacher we knew she was. This also enhances my instructional capacity because it allows for professional development for growth. It increases individualized assistance by adding more support systems for the students. And by observing often, I'm giving her frequent feedback, which can help Ms. Horton improve her teaching strategies. Hopefully, all of these measures will help improve building climate and classroom climate so that Ms. Horton can build a relationship with her students and move forward in a positive way. Unfortunately, this is probably not a cure-all for this issue. This is probably something that will need to be monitored year after year to make sure that Ms. Horton is on the right track emotionally and educationally so that she can help all students succeed. There's going to be loose ends. There's going to be people that are unhappy with decisions, but we have to make sure that all stakeholders' opinions are considered. If they're not, then they're going to not be satisfied with our results. So we need to be fair, open, and honest with all parties involved. As always, I need to act in the best interests of the students and keep their academic achievement and their emotional well-being in mind. Hopefully, we can get to the bottom of this issue before it's too late.